Now that I'm used to the climate, I think that if man ever found a place to live easy and happy, that Eden is on Puget Sound. Eden is on Puget Sound. That Eden is on Puget Sound. A place to live easy and happy. That Eden is on Puget Sound.
Hello and welcome to the Seattle Files. My name is Chris Allen. I'm your host. Every week I get together with a different local comedian, and together we discuss the strange, unusual, interesting, and oftentimes lesser-known aspects of our local history. Joining me today is Graham Downing. How's it going, Graham?
It's good. It's going great.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course.
Graham is a local improviser about town. He performs with Jet City Improv with myself. He is half of the comedy duo Death and Taxes. Performs improv and sketch around Seattle. He and I do that together. He's also in Fun Bucket. He does a show called Super Mega Art Show and is just in shows all over the place, as well as being a visual artist as well. What kind of visual arts do you do?
I'm a painter. Yeah.
Cool.
No, yeah, pretty simple.
And where online can they see that?
grahamdowning.tumblr.com.
Cool.
Yeah,
you got one of them tumblers.
Follow me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Graham, how long have you lived in the Seattle area?
I am born and raised. So
cool.
Every day I lived here another day longer.
Wow, that's a long time.
27 years now.
Getting longer every day. What neighborhood are you from?
Broadview, which is by Karki Park, if you've ever been up there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cool.
It's a beautiful area.
Awesome.
It's a hard city to leave.
Yeah, it really is.
I always say I'm born, raised, and plan to die here.
Wow. A chilling tale of things to come.
Right, truly.
Awesome. How much do you know about the local history?
God. I know probably, like, dumb stuff. Like, stuff that I wouldn't even call history, but, like, facts.
Like what? What's dumb stuff about?
I can't think of anything now.
Okay,
but
yeah,
I'll be
on
like,
the spot, right?
like, I'll like look at a tree and I'll be like, oh, that's where that drunk guy fell out of that tree one time. But that's not like on the census, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, so I know a lot because I've been here for my whole life.
Didn't make it into the Northwest history books.
No,
but that doesn't make it less true that a drunk guy fell out of that tree one time.
Well, it was like that time at Cal Anderson, the drunk guy got stuck in the basketball hoop.
What?
See, exactly.
I've never heard of that.
That's my local history depth.
Awesome. I want you to do a tour of Seattle where
places
drunk guys
got stuck. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And you have no idea what we're going to be talking about today, correct?
I have no idea. I hope it's drunk guys.
Fantastic. Well, let's get started then.
Okay, sounds good.
Johan Ivar Hagland was a Swedish deckhand who arrived in the Northwest in the 1870s. At the time, once a sailor signed onto a voyage, it was illegal for him to leave the ship until the ship reached its final harbor. Johan had enough of life at sea, and he jumped ship and hid in the woods in order to avoid detection until the ship left without him. It was in violation of shipping law. Johan found work at a bakery who paid him largely in stock. Lucky for him, when the Klondike gold rush struck in 1897, the value of the business skyrocketed, and young Johan became incredibly wealthy. Daisy Maud Hagland was the daughter of a wealthy Norwegian immigrant. Her parents had come to America after her father declared, quote, "There are no more gentlemen left in Europe. I am off to America to hunt and to make all my daughters marry rich Americans." I believe those are two separate thoughts.
Yeah.
Not hunt for husbands, but hunting and, Daisy's parents owned Alki Point, having purchased it from Doc Maynard in 1868. And her father busied himself as the lighthouse keeper. They buy Alki Point, and then he works as the lighthouse keeper.
There.
Yeah. Johan and Maud married, and she gave birth on March 21st, 1907, to Ivar Johan Hagland. By the time young Ivar was only 3, Daisy, his mother, succumbed to stomach cancer and died under the care of quack doctor and notorious serial killer Linda Hazard.
Jesus.
Yeah. Daisy's death came after Hazard put her on a 50-day fast.
Oh. Yeah, that's probably what did it, right?
Yeah, she was very sick to begin with. If you want more information on that, check out the episode. There's an entire episode on Linda Hazard, so check that out.
Her last name was Hazard?
Hazard.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to Dr. Poison.
Dr. Stomach Killer. Johan was a true believer in Hazard and took Ivar to be treated by her 3 times a week. Ivar survived her treatments, which largely consisted of fasting, enemas, and painful beatings. Ivar had no memory of his mother since she died when he was so young.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So rough life.
Yeah.
So far. Rough childhood.
So far.
I mean, it's an affluent family, but money...
But beatings and enemas and...
Yeah.
That's just not good for you.
No, it's not.
Even if you're totally healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Ivar was raised by his father and a few female relatives. He learned to play guitar and ukulele, sing, and tap dance. He performed in musicals in school, and by the time he was in college studying economics, he would go to class during the day and perform around Seattle at night. He would sing folk songs and tell stories and jokes to captivated crowds. He graduated from the University of Washington in 1929. Student by day, entertainer by night.
And give himself enemas on stage, beat the shit out of himself.
I don't think that made it into his act.
No?
I think his act is a little more wholesome than that.
That sounds like it.
Folk songs, yeah.
Folk songs.
He wasn't a performance artist in the 1970s.
Right.
Pushing the limits of...
Yeah. Nailed himself to a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Shot himself, yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. Just folk songs mostly. Folk songs and jokes. Shortly after he graduated, his father died. And in his will, left all the family's land holdings in West Seattle to Ivar, who would be able to earn a decent living merely off the rent of the tenants living on the property. So now he doesn't even have to work.
No. I'd take the beatings and the enema if I could live in a lighthouse and charge people rent.
It's an interesting trade-off.
Yeah.
Not a decision I think you'll ever have to make, though.
Well, I'm only 27.
Mm-hmm. He was able to live a life of leisure, playing music, writing songs, and making wine. Even during the Great Depression, he was financially secure. He would also make it a point to, quote-unquote, forget to collect rent every so often to the tenants living on his property who were being hit particularly hard by the Depression.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Very nice of him.
Mm-hmm. In 1932... he married Margaret Raffenberg, a bohemian free-thinker and a card-carrying member of the Communist Party. She introduced Ivar to artists and poets. He came to know fellow folk singers Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger, both of whom stayed with him for a while. He became known around the Northwest as an expert in Northwest folk music. He played on the radio during the day, did live shows at night, and performed on the street frequently as well. Ivar and Margaret went to visit Margaret's cousin in Seaside, Oregon, who owned and operated a small aquarium. And that gave Ivar an idea.
Give those fish some enemas. I'm just not going to let the enema thing go.
Oh, this is going to be
the one word that's stuck in my head so far.
All right. Well, the idea was not giving fish enemas. He could set up an aquarium on the Seattle waterfront.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it didn't have to be much, but with a few tanks and a few live sea creatures, he could charge a dime admittance and try and draw people in by performing folk songs in front of the place. Yeah.
Aquarium at the waterfront, though, that's like... That doesn't, I mean, I guess it makes sense because, you got the ocean breeze smell, but it's basically you, just dropped some glass into the ocean that's already right there and then charged people to look at it.
That's kind of what he did.
I want to go to an aquarium in the middle of Arizona,
I want these fish to suffer.
Well, I just want them to be far away from home.
Why do you want to inconvenience these fish?
Well, because I'm on the waterfront. I mean, literally, you go down to the waterfront, you can see octopuses swimming around. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pay for it, So that's why, the zoo is fun, because it's it's a tiger. But if I go to, Thailand, and there's a bunch of tigers running around, I wouldn't go into a place to see more tigers.
I would rather be in a place where I'm safe from the tigers than just going out in the jungle where there's tigers all over the place.
They're there anyway. That's my point.
Okay. Well, yeah, but you wouldn't be, you might luck out and see an octopus. You might luck out and see some seals. But an aquarium, you're guaranteed.
I guess the guarantee is worth the dime. No, tigers at the aquarium.
Tigers at the aquarium. That would be rough. Yeah. In 1938, he secured Pier 54 on the waterfront. He had a friend build the tanks, and he set up a pump system to pump seawater into the tanks and back out into the harbor.
I didn't even pay for the water. Just stole it from the ocean.
You have a very interesting view about how you think aquariums should run.
I guess I am an aquarium perfectionist.
So you want it to be as inconvenient as a place as possible.
Perfect aquarium, the moon.
Because here you just have to pump water in, pump it out. I mean, you don't have to worry about, if you were doing it in Arizona, you'd have to check the salinity of it. You'd have to do all kinds of stuff.
Right. I mean, he's probably just hoping he catches fish on the pump in.
He obtained a special game license to dredge Elliott Bay to look for specimens.
Oh, wow.
So he did. He just went, he went out and started...
Dredging, though? That's when you, do a big net?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking for specimens for the aquarium.
Specimens. That's a nice word for it.
What would you call them?
The hostages. Fish hostages.
Well, you wanted to give them enemas a minute ago.
I didn't want to. I assumed he did.
Okay. The aquarium opened in 1938 along with a small fish and chips restaurant near the entrance. Ivar gave names to all the creatures in his aquarium, such as Pat the seal, Oscar the octopus, and Herman the hermit crab. Ivar sat out in front of the entrance and sang songs he'd written about the various sea critters.
Huh. That is so cute. I didn't know that he sang in front of his aquarium and stuff.
Yeah, you can go, there's still recordings of his, and you can go on YouTube. You can find, he had a beautiful voice. He was a great singer, yeah. He released several albums. By 1940, the aquarium wasn't doing well. The fish and chip stand had been closed, and the people weren't paying the dime admittance. So Ivar got creative and did for the first time what would later make him famous, a publicity stunt. At Christmas time, he took Pat the seal, dressed him up as a baby, put him in a stroller, pushed him through Pike Place Market, then took him down to see Frederick and Nelson's department store Santa.
Wow.
And presumably got kicked out of Frederick and Nelson.
Did he? Yeah, I guess you would if you brought a seal in there.
Yeah, they don't like that.
You can't really do that kind of stuff anymore.
You can, but you get shut down immediately.
Yeah. It took him 2 years for the aquarium to not do well.
Well, I think it didn't do well from the start.
Oh, okay.
It might have done all right, but yeah, it was not doing well by 1940, so we started doing publicity stunts. Shortly after, he took Pat the seal down to Frederick and Nelson's. He held a live wrestling match between Oscar the octopus and former prize fighter 2-ton Tony Galanto, which was billed as a battle between man and beast.
Oh my God. Neither of these are okay.
The fight drew international press coverage. The Humane Society attempted to intervene, but they were appeased when they learned the octopus was already dead, and just made to look like it was fighting.
Oh, okay. I thought they got there, and he had died of something else.
He had died from wrestling-related injuries.
Well, that's... Because I was going to say, an octopus will, totally screw you up. I mean, they have those beaks and stuff, and they've got, claws on their tentacles, right? On their suckers.
Do they?
I think an octopus is a vicious animal.
I'm just picturing it would, suffocate you, essentially. It would just go on your face and...
I don't think they're like the alien, you know?
Oh.
They don't go for the face. They have horrible beaks that are just, razor sharp.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. They'll mangle some stuff. They're also crazy smart, you know? I know that at the aquarium nowadays, they have security footage of the octopus coming out of its little cage thing and going across the room, opening a door and eating the fish in the other room, and then coming back and putting the lid back on its tank.
Are you sure this isn't a cartoon?
No, this is one of those.
And then it went and it signed into your email account, and then it started ordering all these cans of sardines using your Amazon account.
I'll sign for those.
And then several octopus stack up and put on a suit and a
Go
top
to
hat.
R-rated movies. No, they're so smart. They have to put a thing on top of their lid because they'll get out of there. I don't know. You look at an octopus and they're up to stuff, right? But I know that they have crazy sharp beaks.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. So it might not have gone well for 2-ton Tony Galanto if he not fight a dead, but it was already a dead octopus.
Wow, where was his career when he's fighting a dead octopus? Poor guy.
Never
He's
thought
not even
of that.
alive. He's just shaking it around, Bela Lugosi style.
the post-fighting career as a prize fighter is I hit my low point when I was fighting a dead octopus
and losing. fell on my face. Well, that's good.
Because of the publicity stunts, the aquarium started doing well. He approached the radio station KJR Seattle and asked if he could get airtime to promote his aquarium on credit, and they accepted. One day, there was a vacancy in airtime. Ivar was asked if he could fill in at the last minute. His performance went so well, the station offered him his own program. His daily show, Around the Sound, became incredibly popular, and Ivar was able to promote his aquarium as well as his music, playing his original songs such as Run Clam Run, Ernest the Sea Urchin, and All Hail the Halibut.
Oh, God. That sort of thing doesn't happen nearly enough anymore.
I know, right?
Well, I was gonna, where somebody, they need to fill a spot on the radio, and so they just grab somebody and they turn into a big hit. Mm-hmm. You know, like, what is it, the Dolly Parton movie? Like, Talk to Me or whatever it is. But that doesn't happen anymore.
I'm not. Is that how Dolly Parton got discovered?
No, she's in a movie. Real Talk.
Where she becomes a talk show host.
Self-help, and she's not really a doctor.
I remember that movie, yeah.
Ivar, not really a sailor.
Yeah, where they just throw her on the air to fill up dead air time. Yeah, but nowadays they can just put on a
I didn't realize
taper.
that had ever really happened, either.
Well, he was already kind of there. He was already a folk singer. He'd already had radio appearances, so it wasn't, but it was kind of like, hey, can you do 20 minutes today because somebody called in sick or something? I don't know what happened.
It's just so sweet.
It's so great, yeah. It's a perfect thing for him. But because of his promotions on KJR, attendance at the aquarium went from a couple of hundred to over 50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, people really loved his seafood themed folk songs. When World War II came around, Ivar was too old to join the military, but he volunteered his efforts anyway. He would sing on the radio in the morning, work at the aquarium during the day, and work the graveyard shift at Boeing as an expediting clerk for the production department for the B-17 Flying Fortress bomber.
Oh. Wow.
Busy guy.
Busy.
Mm-hmm. In 1946, Ivar opened up his now famous restaurant on the Seattle waterfront. For its name, he borrowed a line from an 1800s folk song called the Old Settler's Song, better known as Acres of Clams, which you might recognize as the theme song to this podcast.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
that's a nice little
song. There's what I'm using is just a small section of a larger song. I got my friend Pete Schatz to record it for me. But if you listen it through the end of the podcast, there'll be a longer version that I'll put at the end of this here.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. A verse in the song goes, "No longer the slave of ambition, I laugh at the world and its shams as I think of my happy condition surrounded by acres of clams."
Yeah. That's on, now that's what I call seafood-themed folk songs.
Yeah.
28.
Exactly. For 1928.
Yeah, 1928.
It was a mid-1860s or 1870s, something like that.
I didn't even know they were making music then. It just seems like forever
Well,
ago.
the song it's about a guy who goes around mining, and he's trying to be a miner all these different places, and he sees people becoming unsuccessful, and then he comes out here to the Northwest, and he gives up all his ambitions to be rich and wealthy, and just kind of hangs out here surrounded by acres of clams, and how he's much happier once he got to the Puget Sound and is living out here, not trying to mine for gold anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I just gave up, and I'm surrounded by stinky, rotting seafood all the time.
Yeah. Ivar's Acres of Clams opened on Pier 54 next to the aquarium, and it was an instant hit. The restaurant was nautical-themed and as gimmicky as it could possibly be.
Nautical-themed. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Versus a rainforest cafe sort of aesthetic.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Yeah, the restaurant featured clam-shaped menus, clam nectar, a rifle with a shovel attached to it he called the clam gun, hanging on the wall. Because a clam gun is a thing you use to dig for clams, but he just took a shovel, tied it to the end of a gun, and called it a clam gun. Because Ivar never met a pun he didn't like.
No, apparently not.
No.
Was it?
The slogan of the restaurant was, and still is to this day, "Keep Clam."
Oh.
In 1947, a truck containing more than 1,000 gallons of corn syrup ruptured a hose in front of Acres of Clams, spraying gobs of syrup onto the street. Ivar ran into the kitchen of his restaurant and had them cook a huge stack of pancakes. When reporters arrived at the site of the spill, they found Ivar Hagland in his trademark captain's hat with a bib and a stack of pancakes dumping huge pours of syrup from a giant spoon over the stack. Always good with the publicity stunt.
Yeah, seriously.
Shortly after the syrup incident, rumors began circulating about a strange creature living in Lake Washington, given the name the Madrona Sea Monster. After hearing about the news, Ivar quote-unquote captured the creature on film. The picture, he said, this is the sea monster. The picture looks like it's of 3 birds sitting on the water. It does not look like a sea monster.
Wow.
But he said, this is the sea monster. He offered a $5,000 reward for the creature's capture. He gave every person working at his aquarium gill nets and slices of tuna. He told reporters his goal was to keep the creature in his aquarium forever because, quote, sea monsters never die.
That seems like a very dangerous thing to do. To offer $5,000 to capture an animal that doesn't exist. Like, won't people be going out there just like killing everything and, I don't know, pulling up scuba divers and stuff?
we found
it just seems reckless. You know, like putting like a big reward out there to do something that is impossible. You know, I don't know.
I don't think anybody was harmed in the hunt for the sea monster.
Seems like, you know.
Yeah, seems reckless.
Well, when you offer people money, they'll try and do it.
That's true, yeah. Quote, who are we to say from the boundless depths of the ocean all the mysteries have been uncovered and brought to the surface, end quote, he said of the sea monster. He had a clam eating contest, and... like that. Well, the winner ate 337 clams in 10 minutes.
God, was it an octopus or something? Like that's his gimmick?
It was a human.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was a person. Yeah, 337 clams in 10 minutes. Too many clams. I'm gonna say.
In how many minutes?
10 minutes.
How many? Oh my god! Yeah, that's so many clams. It's like 37 clams a minute.
Did
I do that right?
I think so. Oh. It's close. Yeah.
Yeah. God, eating 37 clams in like an hour is a contest on its own.
Yeah, it's like 33.7 clams in a minute. Yeah. The restaurant was a success, and soon he opened up another on Broadway and Thomas, which he promoted with a chop suey eating contest. Don't know why. For a seafood restaurant, he would do that, but he did. A third restaurant opened downtown on 5th and Pike, a fine dining affair in 1956 called The Captain's Table. It was billed as the pinnacle of elegance.
Oh, God. Damn it. Ivers.
You never know when they're going to come, and then they come at you.
You know who I'd hate to be? Ivar's wife.
Well, they divorced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was married twice, I think.
Yeah. Because she had to put up with all of this, you know.
Yeah. Well, she was a communist.
Oh, okay.
So that's relevant, maybe?
I'm gonna go seaweed the garden. Honey, where are you going?
I'll put in the laundry with some Tide.
That's good. Look at me, I'm waving goodbye. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this could go on for...
I'm not gonna miss you. Not like...
You can't see, but Chris is tying a knot.
Yeah, it was a fake knot, yeah. Visual gags were great. Especially bad visual gags.
Especially on
podcasts. He opened Ivar's Salmon House on Lake Union and designed it to replicate a native longhouse and filled it with Native American artwork. In 1971, the Seattle Historical Society presented Hagland and architect John Adams with an award of merit for their contribution to Seattle history. You been to there?
The
Ivar Salmon House?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, the place is awesome.
They do like a Labor Day meal or something that my family used to
go
to. Yeah, it's like a buffet.
I love that place. Yeah, it's one of my favorite restaurants in Seattle.
It's pretty.
In 1957, Como TV cast him as First Mate Salty on The Captain Puget Show. The show produced more than 2,000 episodes, further cementing Ivar Hagland into the consciousness of Northwesterners.
Wow.
1960, Senator Margaret Chase Smith proposed a new stamp that would honor the U.S. fishing industry. Ivar Hagland thought this was a great idea, but was horrified to learn that the artwork for the stamp would be the Atlantic sardine. Boo.
Why was he horrified?
Well, he had a friend draw up a stamp design featuring a clam, and sent the mock stamps to the senator along with a sack of real clams. So he said it should be a clam.
Yeah.
We're going to do a fishing industry, then honor to the fishing industry. It should be a clam.
Do you fish clams?
Do fish clams?
Do you fish clams?
You
just kind of pull them off the
clams.
You harvest them.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't know. It's the same industry.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Which also, I mean, that kind of sounds like a threat. He sends, here's a mock-up of some stamps and a bag of clams.
I woke up next to it in bed.
Yeah. The design was not made into a stamp. However, Ivar liked them so much, he started selling sheets of them in the gift shop. Sheets of these fake stamps.
I was going to say, yeah.
The problem was they looked too good. They looked so much like real stamps that federal authorities intervened and deemed them counterfeit. They gave them a cease and desist, and though no one was arrested, the stamps were seized and incinerated. In 1971, a sign went up on the pier near acres of clams that read, "Please don't feed the seagulls." Ivar responded by putting up his own sign that said, "Seagulls welcome! Seagull lovers welcome to feed seagulls in need."
That sign is still there.
It is, yeah.
I
don't know if it's the same sign, but there's signs out there saying, which is why if you sit outside, the seagulls, will get up right up on you. But it's fun to go down there and you can throw and the seagulls will catch the fries. Yeah.
Really
Oh, yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah. Good old Ivar's just abusing animals for entertainment.
And then he says, "Please feed these wild carrion eating."
Sully the seagull.
Sully the seagull. Because he's sullying the waterfront.
Right.
He said, quote, "I don't want to embarrass my neighbors. They do what they want on their pier, and I'll do what I want on mine. I consider seagulls the unpaid guardians of public health. They keep the waterfront free of garbage. They are beautiful, useful scavengers."
He either sounds like the sweetest man in the world or kind of like an insane person.
Yeah.
If he didn't own a business, he would just be a madman. He'd pushing a seal around in a baby cart, making an old wrestler wrestle an octopus. All these things are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Making fake stamps. He's a total madman.
He really is, yeah. But it's all in good fun. He's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, but he's a very shrewd businessman doing these crazy publicity stunts. He knows what's going to capture people's attention. And, he's not being malicious to anybody.
No.
But you're right.
You hear about it, maybe out of context.
Yeah, but the Venn diagram between really nice guy and crazy person, I think they overlap, and in the middle is Ivar Hagland. I don't think that's unfair to say. In 1976, Ivar Hagland had become an enormously successful restaurateur and local icon. He purchased the Smith Tower, which was built in 1914, the tallest building in the country outside of New York at the time of its construction. You know the Smith Tower, big white building down there, yeah. He flew a 16-foot windsock in the shape of a salmon from the top.
Madman.
The director of the Seattle Building Department cited Hagland as in being in violation of Municipal Ordinance 106350, Section 4919, Subsection 4, covering flying flags, banners, and the like.
So he sent him a bag of clams.
The director, whose name was Al Petty, real name, Petty, ordered him to take the windsock down. Naturally, when the public caught wind of this, they sided with Ivar. Hagland and Petty started battling it out in the press, back and forth, in poetry. Petty wrote, quote, "Since your kite is in violation, you must remove that illegal installation, keep clam as I am." To which Ivar responded, "Oh well, what the hell, laws are made for mortal men, in this case I don't expect to win, so keep clam as I am, you ham."
Oh my god. Things were so different.
This is 1976. This wasn't that long ago. 40 years ago? Yeah.
That's a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the two people are battling about laws via
poetry.
Couplets or whatever.
The windsock was taken down. It was allowed to fly one more time in 2005 on what would have been Ivar Hagland's 100th birthday.
That's, I just got a little chills.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
In addition to the Smith Tower, Ivar also purchased all of Pier 54 and held annual 4th of Julyvers celebrations. Coming at you. They were the largest privately funded fireworks displays in the nation. Ivar also privately funded the public airing of Monty Python's Flying Circus and created the shortest Super Bowl ad ever, clocking in at half a second. It's just a picture of a clam with legs, and it says, "Ivars." It's on YouTube. Check it out. In 1983, as another publicity stunt, 78-year-old Hagland ran for port commissioner, largely as a joke. He said he was running to remove the boxcars from blocking his view. He was planning on resigning, but missed the deadline. He begged to be taken off the ballot, but there was no such luck.
My God.
He did no campaigning and won the election with 30,000 votes. On January 30th, 1985, at the age of 79, he died of a heart attack while getting out of bed. In his will, he left a few personal items to friends, but gave the majority of his estate to the Washington State University Restaurant Program and the University of Washington School of Business. Ivar's now has 3 full-service restaurants, 28 fish bars, and employs over 1,300 people.
Wow.
Ivar's tradition of PR stunts and pranks has outlived him. In 2009, a series of underwater billboards were dredged up from Elliott Bay, under the claim that Hagland had put them down there years before in anticipation of a submarine highway. Of course, they had been submerged just shortly before and were raised up in view of cameras. The story was reported on the news and gave added publicity to the Ivar's restaurants.
Oh.
Yeah, keeping it going.
Yeah, God.
In 2013, when Seattle's disaster of a tunnel project stopped, when the drill Big Bertha hit a then unknown object and broke, Ivar's sent out a press release theorizing the drill had hit a giant clam. From the press release, quote, "The sudden State Route 99 tunnel obstruction has been causing speculation among historians, engineers, and Seattleites this past week, and Ivar's representatives announced today that they may have the answer. A 70-foot clamosaurus."
Oh, no.
Ivar's records and historical anecdotes reveal restaurant flounder Ivar Hagland bred an oversized proto-clam. Ivar's mysterious pet was a prized possession spotted around town until it abruptly disappeared in 1937 when Hagland moved his Seattle Aquarium from Harbor Avenue in West Seattle to Pier 3, now Pier 54. Legend has it, the 70-foot shellfish creature fell off a truck bed near South Jackson Street, approximately where Bertha is currently stuck. Coincidence? ? End quote.
Well, that one didn't even cost them any money.
No, it didn't.
No.
This is a press. I think they took out some ads too. But
Okay.
yeah, and they did there's some artwork about what a clamosaurus looked like, and some doctored photos to make it look like here's this clamosaurus running around in the 1930s.
So good.
Ivar Hagland has been referred to many times as the person who most exemplifies Seattle.
Just totally insane. It's completely nuts.
But sweet.
Oh my God,
and
so
Charmy's
sweet.
Such
All that stuff is great.
Yeah, it's just such an individual. Doesn't really care about what other people think. Just doing his own thing.
Yeah, and being successful. Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, he did the TV, he did the music, he did the restaurants, all the stunts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he was really involved in the city.
Yeah, port commissioner for a time.
Didn't want to be.
Yeah,
but was.
I guess he didn't really do that well as port commissioner either. He didn't really want to be there.
City fell apart. Just pun-themed disasters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's Ivar Hagland. And every time, I've been researching this story for a while, and every time all I want to do is eat some clam chowder and some fish and chips. I can't talk about this without getting hungry.
Like 370 of them in 10 minutes.
Yeah, 337 clams in 10 minutes.
That's so much. I guess I like clam chowder, but that sounds disgusting.
It's too many clams in too short of a amount of time.
And clams, like, I could maybe eat 330... crispy M&Ms,
So like one packet of M&Ms.
Yeah, right. Just clams are slimy and seafoody, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But that was fascinating. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this Ivar's fellow.
Yeah.
More than I did before.
Oh, good.
That's what I'm walking away from this thing with.
Excellent. Fantastic.
A newfound respect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and Ivar's down on the waterfront was closed for a time because of the construction of the seawall, but it's opened back again.
Yeah.
Opened up
No tipping.
Again. At the
Is that a publicity
Salmon
stunt?
House one. At the Salmon House. Yeah, they did. I haven't been following that story super closely, but they did when Seattle voted to raise minimum wage to $15. They said that they were going to just give raises to all their employees immediately and then eliminate tipping.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting experiment, and I look forward to seeing how it plays out.
Well, I walked into that Ivar's once.
The one at the Salmon House?
No, the one on the waterfront.
Oh, okay.
The one that's very nice now.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's very
looked
nice.
at the menu, and then we walked out.
Because it was too expensive?
Too expensive. And we went to the little bar outside.
Oh, the fish bar,
and it was so cheap, and we threw fries at seagulls and stuff. It was a good time.
Yeah, the one when you go in, it's like a white linen tablecloth, nice, high end, like you're gonna get high end seafood experience. It's one of those places where I wouldn't say it's expensive, but it's not overpriced.
Yeah,
like
you
get what you
like
pay
a
for.
room divider.
Yeah,
you know.
But yeah, the place outside is
so good.
pretty cheap. Yeah, really good, definitely.
Yeah. That's Ivar's.
That's Ivar's. That's the Ivar Hagland story.
One more thing. Keep clam. Yeah. I assumed that was some dumb thing with the keep calm and carry on trend.
No, this predates that.
Oh, thank God. That's the thing I'm happiest to hear.
The keep calm and carry on thing was, I don't know if it went before that, but it was what the British would say during World War II.
Yeah. It got really popular during the wedding. Because
the royal wedding,
they had these signs up that said it, and then everybody had to keep calm and keep calm and
Remember,
drink
it seemed like 2005, 2006 is when that big meme kind of started. But keep clam goes way back. Way
I'm so happy to hear that Ivars did not buy into the keep calm and carry on.
No, their motto's been keep clam for decades and decades.
Thank God.
Well, thank you for listening to the Seattle Files. I will be back next week with a new topic and a new guest. New episodes come out every Tuesday, so check back often. Be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe, and rate in iTunes. If you have a topic suggestion that you would like to hear an episode about, shoot me an email at theseattlefiles@gmail.com. And thank you so much for being here, Graham.
Hey, that was fun.
I'll be back next week with a new episode and a new guest.
Now that I'm used to the climate, I think that if man ever found a place to live easy and happy, that Eden is on Puget Sound. Eden is on Puget Sound. That Eden is on Puget Sound. A place to live easy and happy. That Eden is on Puget Sound. No longer the slave of ambition, I laugh at the world and its shams as I think of my pleasant condition, surrounded by acres of clams. Surrounded by acres of clams. Surrounded by acres of clams. I think of my happy condition, surrounded by acres of clams. Surrounded by